programs. Why did I write it? I felt that after watching what was going on, I could not be somebody that just sits around and commiserates and complains and wish it were not so, or had false faith that this is just a cycle, that we're going to swing way to the left and then we're going to swing way back to the right. Nobody really has to do anything. So spring break last year, with some family and friends, we were sitting around commiserating. I teach people not to commiserate. But we were doing it. And then we got irritated, we got bothered. And we committed, we're not just going to complain, we're going to do something differently. So we all decided to use a talent or a skill that we had in order to preserve freedom, individual liberty, help to shrink the government. One of the reasons the founders were so wise in promoting and creating a structure for small government is they knew that so many other ills would be covered beneath that. In other words, if you shrink government, if you don't fund things, then things can't grow out of control. And that's just people involved using their unique talents to make a difference in their little area of the country. And so that's what we want to do with the campaign. I said on the Cavuto interview, said we want to agitate people. Agitate, we want to communicate, we want to catch their attention. And today, there's very few places where you can hear the facts and the truth unfiltered. On a billboard, you can hear the facts, you can see the facts unfiltered. So we want to catch people's attention without a filter and hit them with hard messages, but we don't want to stop there, otherwise that would be like ringing and running. It's something that my kids enjoy as well. Ringing and running, you know? You make a noise and then you go away. We want to make a noise and we want to stay. And what's the second step? We want to educate people. And the third thing is motivate people. We can get agitated, we can get educated, but if we don't translate it into productive action, then we're not going to be better off from it. And so the next 6 months are the most important 6 months, I believe, in my life for this country. And if we work together, those of us that love freedom and appreciate freedom, there's no limit to what we can accomplish. All of the polling data suggests that mainstream, all-American traditional values trump.
This is going to be the most serious talk I ever gave, and I promise you, you will feel worse when I'm done than when I started. Trying to stop liberal, regressive Democrats is a never-ending job. They're regressive. They're not progressive. They're progressive only in the way cancer is progressive. They never, ever die. It's like fighting Medusa. You cut off one snake, you turn around, and there's 2 more there. And I'm going to give you the examples. January 1944, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, State of the Union speech, in the middle of World War II, 6 months prior to Beacon, gave the following talk. This republic had its beginnings and grew to its present strength under the protection of certain inalienable rights. Among them, the right of free speech, free press, free worship, trial by jury, freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures. They were our rights to life and liberty. And our nation has grown in size and stature. However, as our industrial economy expanded, these political rights proved inadequate to assure us equality in the pursuit of happiness. Equality in the pursuit of happiness. We have come to a clear realization of the fact that true individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence. Really. Necessitous men are not free men, he said. People who are hungry and out of a job are the stuff of which dictatorships are made. You ever been hungry? You ever been out of a job? You want to become a dictator? Any of you? In our day, these economic truths have become accepted, he said, as self-evident. 1944, in the middle of World War II. Never miss an opportunity during a crisis, hey? We have accepted, he said, so to speak, a second Bill of Rights. We have. Under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all. Among these new rights are the right to a useful and remunerative job. Really. The right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation. Really. The right of every family to a decent home. Really. I didn't get that until I moved here. The right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health. January 1944. The right to, listen to this, The right to adequate protection from economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment. Really? The right to a good education, January 1944. In the midst of World War II, never miss an opportunity during a crisis. 20 years later, 1963, what's the crisis? John F. Kennedy's assassinated. Vietnam War. Johnson's War on Poverty. What an opportunity. Got to take that opportunity. We've got to take care of poverty. 20 years later, we had spent on the war on poverty the assets of all the Fortune 500 companies, plus the value of all the farmland in America on the war on poverty, and what did it get? 20 years later, Obama, 2 wars were in, the biggest economic crisis of our lifetime, and we get Obamacare. They never, ever stop. So what do we say to people? Who are we? We want to, I wrote agitate. I wrote agitate. We want to agitate. You're wiser. We want to motivate. We want to educate. What do we stand for? We stand for the Constitution. If it's not in here, we're not for it. Would you please tell me how the federal government can tell us what kind of lights we have to have in our house? Is that in here?
Or how much money we can make.
Or how much? We stand for the Constitution. If it's not in here, we're not for it. That's who we are.
Younger than that, better than 3 years. And up until a few months ago, have not been particularly politically active. But Tommy and I have been friends for 15 years or so, and a group of us have just begun talking more and more politics because it involves our lives as small business owners and what we're allowed to do and what we, plan to do in the future. And when that future began to be threatened significantly, we were all trying to figure out something to do. And 90 days ago, I had an idea about doing something on billboards. Just knew the power of being able to communicate in a way that's really unfiltered. And thought, wouldn't it be a great idea if we had a campaign in Atlanta and then raise some money to put up some messages that were opposed to continuing to go into socialism. And so we did that. 90 days ago it was just a spark of an idea. 60 days ago we put together a website and paid to get about half a dozen ads done and put them on 6 digital boards in Atlanta. 30 days ago it went completely viral. Word got out. People started emailing the web address to their friends and their friends and their friends, and we went from 1 or 2 emails a day because every billboard did have the website. And so it just started going crazy. It's the power of the internet and the communication tools that are available to us, and that's a big part of the plan that we have to harness a lot of that power and to make a big statement quick, because this is the most important 6 months of all of our lives, I believe. And now we're public. We're a Section 527 not-for-profit political organization. We can make partisan comments. What we can't do is contribute to specific candidates or specific campaigns or give money to parties like the Republican Party. But we can collect money, and every bit of what we're collecting is being spent on the production and the placement of billboards. And the beauty of it is it's all still coming back to the website. And the website contains content. And Tommy, without even planning in advance to do this, has spent 20 years developing content based on being an independent, successful entrepreneur who takes care of themselves, takes care of their families, and who pays taxes, and whose success blesses others around them. And the opportunity to do that is being taken away.
But they can't get away from that.
And even if they do listen to the radio, they're not likely to be getting the types of messages that we want to be absorbing in them. And so while I'm one of the people that thinks we've been too passive as conservatives and people that believe in individual freedom, but the question is, so what? Now what? In other words, we can't do anything about our passivity up until this point, but now we have an opportunity. We have a 6-month window, and it's not about the billboards. The billboards are the first step to creating, imagine this, a nationwide network of messages all tied into one website that warns the public about what's happening and educates them as to what they can do to prevent it from happening